I started to think about, traditional loyalty programs, and there's a fair, I do about 200 flights a year for my sins. So I get a lot of frequent flyer points. I've got, I accumulate a couple of million frequent flyer points a year. So loyalty programs work really well for me, or at least frequent flyer programs do. But the reality is, for most people, they fly, and in about 10 years, if they haven't expired, you'll get a free flight, right? So it's what I call a very long-tail view of loyalty. So we have short-term accumulation and very long-term redemption, if you like. And in fact, if you look at some of the research for the frequent flyer programs, what they're finding is that frequent flyers, high-tier frequent flyers, don't actually care about the points anymore. What they care about is their status. Right? And so the frequent flyer programs have then thought, we've got to find people more ways of accumulating points, and so they can get to this redemption point faster. So, so now you can, in Australia at least, you can go to Woolworths, the major supermarket, and you can acquire frequent flyer points by buying your milk. And so, I don't have to just fly anymore. I can shop and I can acquire my points. And so, hopefully, I'll get to my one flight to Wellington sooner than I was going to. And so by making the programs broader and by increasing the number of collection points, if you like, of those frequent flyer programs, they're creating sort of points ubiquity, right? So I can go to the supermarket, I can, in some places you can go to a real estate agent. If you buy a house, they give you a bunch of frequent flyer points. Banking, telco, if I, on my bill I'm a Virgin mobile customer in Australia, and on my bill every month, I get a little line saying I got 70 points for my Velocity card. Let me ask you, who is going to stay with their telco for 70 points? It's going to take me 20 years to get a flight anywhere. Right. So actually what they're doing is they're not actually creating loyalty programs anymore. Frequent flyer programs aren't loyalty programs anymore. So what they really are is a value exchange. It's really about you buy something, you do something, I give you this. But for most of the people and most of the points earned now, it has nothing to do with the airline. Most of the frequent flyer points earned in Qantas are not with the airline, they're outside in the partner network. And so I ask you, if it's just a points exchange and you're tagged into one of these programs, what loyalty does it actually create to your brand? What loyalty does actually bond between you and your customer? Right. So there's a real difference between this value exchange of me handing my card over at every opportunity I get to get some points, so I can go on a flight, or I can buy a toaster, and real loyalty, which is what we're trying to engender in these programs. And just as an aside, if you have a look at those programs and you do the maths, so I'm also an analyst, right? So I do the maths on these things. And the frequent flyer programs are very highly geared towards very high tier, very high earned frequent flyers. So if I buy a business class ticket on my frequent flyer program, I get about a 5% return on all of my purchases. 5%, it's massive, it's really worthwhile. Problem is, if I want to take my family away, I need 600,000 points. Right. If you buy an economy ticket on your frequent flyer program, you will get somewhere between 1 and 1.5% return on your spend. If you buy a toaster or some other gift card, you'll get somewhere less than 0.5%. So they're very highly geared towards very high tier, and everybody else that doesn't earn 50 to 100,000 points a year is being ripped off.